Hi everyone, welcome back to the Golden Girls channel. Today we're going to be discussing healthy relationships, whether that be friendships, romantic relationships, or sexual relationships. And on the note of sexual relationships, we'll also be talking about safe sex, both emotionally and physically. So to start off our day, the first activity we did was we drew up a chart of good and bad things to have in relationships. Again, this can be friendships, romantic or sexual relationships, and this is what the girls came up with for both the pros and the cons and warning signs. And of course, good and bad are very simple words to simmer a relationship down to, but just kind of like indicators. So what are ones that you guys can think of?
Oh, communication.
Yeah.
Trust.
Oh.
We
We can only think of two things that are good to have in a relationship.
Those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones.
Like, I guess loyalty kind of.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
I would also say balance.
Ooh.
Because you don't, unless it's agreed upon, one person shouldn't have more power within the relationship. Well, we can also, like, what are actions that show that somebody is a good friend or a good significant other? So I would say, like, respecting wishes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not forcing anything on someone.
Caring, like asking if they're okay if something happens.
I'm gonna put, like, being sensitive. And I think honesty kind of goes along with trust and loyalty, but sometimes honesty is saying something that somebody needs to hear whether they want to or not, but again in like a respectful way. Okay, what about bad? What are bad things in a relationship or in a friendship?
Like, I don't know how to, there's like a more concise word for this, but like hearing what you want to hear.
Okay, so misinterpretation,
Yeah.
Or like making assumptions about something.
not respecting boundaries, whether it's you don't want to do something or you don't want to go somewhere.
Not having communication or trust or being disloyal.
So-
The opposite of everything good.
Oh, I would say control or power. One person shouldn't have more power over it. You know, somebody shouldn't be trying to control where you're going or who you're hanging out with or what you're wearing or anything like that. You know, if you were seeing somebody who was dating someone or who was hanging out with someone and you saw something happening, what are those signs that it's maybe an unhealthy relationship to be in?
Too flirty.
Too flirt. Yeah, that's actually good, right? Like, because if, you know...
Friends are friends.
Or like,
Yeah.
just like crossing boundaries with like PDA and stuff.
Yeah. Because, you know, if somebody's not comfortable with something...
Limits.
Yeah. Like, I think usually a sign of that something isn't healthy is if people who you trust, people who are your friends, are telling you that they are worried or that they don't agree or they're, you know, something like that. Friends can be wrong and friends can make mistakes, and a lot of times it's just because they might be trying to, like, you know, watch out for you and stuff, but a lot of times if there's a large group of people who you generally trust and believe are intelligent and are trustworthy and they're telling you you shouldn't do that, or, you know, I don't think that this person's right for you, then that can be a warning sign. Also going along with your friends, you know, family. Of course, there's some parents who don't want their kids dating just because they don't want them to date. But if there seems to be like a specific person that your parents seem to not like, you should talk to them and ask them why, because they might be seeing warning signs that you don't.
This kind of goes with control and power, but like if they're really possessive.
Yeah, I think that's like a little bit different too, because and like jealousy, and of course this is to the extreme, but abuse in any form. You know, abuse can be verbal, it can be physical, it can be sexual, and a lot of times it's hidden. A lot of times people don't really realize that's what it is. But a lot of these things that we have listed, like having too much control, not respecting boundaries, those can be early signs of an abusive relationship. Also, one is hiding birth control. You know, if somebody is saying, no, I don't want to use a condom, or if they're saying, no, hiding your birth control pills from me or something like that. You know, that again goes with the boundaries and stuff, and that anything that they're doing that you don't agree with, that they're doing anyway, that could possibly harm you or is just really frustrating to you, that's probably not something that you want to be involved in. The sexual aspect, that sex has a really, really big impact on your body image because, you know, especially at a younger age in adolescence, but all throughout life, you know, sex, depending on who you're doing it with and, you know, how many people, if that's what the route that you're following and what you're doing, you know, you're opening yourself up, and it's a very vulnerable position, whether that person is taking the power or not, you know. I mean, you're usually naked, you're in, it's a very vulnerable position, and so somebody who is respecting you and is in that position and is empowering you while you're vulnerable, that has a great impact on your body image, whereas somebody who is not, you know, complimenting you or not making you feel safe in that vulnerable position can really affect your body image in a negative way.
Like, I think the same way they think. I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Because when you do trust someone with a relationship, whether it's a friendship or whether it's sexual, you are giving them that power. You are giving them that, you're trusting them, and you're giving them an amount of power which they can either be responsible with or they could abuse. And, you know, so if somebody is telling you, somebody you care about is telling you, you know, you're not good enough, or I don't like this part of you, whatever, then it's hard not to internalize it. So I think that's probably the biggest aspect of how your relationships can really affect your body image. I think also, even unwillingly, that if, you know, if people say things that they don't realize are affecting you and it's not voiced, that can lead to issues too. You know, if you have a friend who's much smaller than you and is saying like, oh, I'm so fat, then it's like, well, if she's fat and I'm bigger than her, you know, that kind of thing too. And so that's, again, with a healthy relationship, you have to have that communication and say, hey, I don't feel good when you say that.
I think it's mostly what you were saying with, like, if people are, like, down on themselves and saying, like, oh, like, my hair color is so nasty or whatever, and then you're like, okay, well, we have a similar hair color, so what are you saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's not, like, meant that way. Or I think even something as subtle as saying, like, oh, that actor or actress is, like, really hot or whatever, and you're like, okay, well, we have, like, an opposite body type.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not, neither of those things I don't think are directly meant towards the other person, but depending on, like, their mental state, they can internalize it, so.
Because, you know, if that's what's normal to you, it's just like kids growing up with parents who have issues as well, you know. If that's what's normal to you, this idea that you should hate yourself and that this is wrong with you and this is wrong with you, then that's going to become part of your personality, and you're going to have to struggle with it. And with, you know, whether people mean it intentionally or not, it can have those effects. And, you know, it's like if your friend is saying things about herself that aren't positive, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, she's a bad friend, because she's not trying to hurt you, you know, it's just something that she's working through. So the part that comes in is then if you guys have that open line of communication and are able to talk about it and are able to say, hey, why do you feel that way? And trying to make her feel better and in turn make yourself feel better, or to say, I understand that you're struggling with this, but it makes me really uncomfortable when you say that. Abby and I, you know, we've been friends for a long time, and when we were in middle school, she wasn't doing as much exercise and stuff, and she wasn't feeling too great about her body. Neither of us were. And, you know, I would say stuff like, oh, my thighs are so big, or oh, like, gosh, my stomach is fat, or whatever. And it got to a point where she said, you know, can you really stop saying that? Because you're a lot thinner than I am. So when you say that, it makes me feel bad. And that kind of clicked. I was like, I hadn't thought about that. Alright, so after doing that, we decided that, you know, if you're with someone who is making up excuses for not having safe sexual relations, then is that really somebody that you want to be with? In order to kind of think about that, we decided that we were going to do some activities to disprove some common sex myths with condoms. So the first one we did was busting the myth of the, oh, I'm too big, I can't fit in a condom idea. So what we're going to do, so feel free to do this, if you have a condom on you and somebody says I'm too big to fit in a condom, right away you should be like, I'm not hooking up with you. And you can pull out your condom and you can do this with it. So we're going to open up the condoms.
Oh my
So
God.
unroll it.
It smells like ice cream.
Let me get it out of the way.
How do you oh.
Like,
Now what I want you to do is I want you to blow it up as big as you can. It's too lubed. Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
You're struggling.
Yeah. Why are you so bad at this?
I'm horrible at blowing things up. You're having so
So from the top to the tip, this is about 27 inches long. And let's measure the girth. Yeah. What is that? 27 inches around in girth as well. Too big for a condom. Oh, you're lying. You're lying.
Secrets, lies, and memories light hurt and still burning deep beneath my skin. Scars from darker days, the night forgotten pain is fading, but it never really goes away. It never really goes away.
There's also an idea that a lot of guys will say, oh, I don't want to use a condom because it doesn't feel as good or I can't feel anything. And well, this may be something for certain people. It's still one of those things where, like, does that outweigh the safety and the possibility of diseases, pregnancy, or any other issues that could come with sex? We're gonna to bust the, well, I can't feel anything when I wear a condom myth, and open up your condom. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the condom on our hand. So, insert the tip. We don't need to pay attention to the pitching because we're not having sex here. Nothing's gonna come out of our fingers, I hope. I hope. I don't know what you guys have been doing, so. Oh my god, my hand is so big. Yeah, just put it on your hand. Just.
Grace is like, first try.
Wow, ooh. So now I'm gonna take this like little leaf. We're gonna go around. I'm gonna tickle you with the leaf on your hand that has the condom on it, and you guys tell me if you can feel it. You ready? Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Just. You feel? Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and look, I'm barely touching, right? I can actually feel this. Obviously, okay. And, you know, I can still feel my hand. Everything is fine, guys. Feels exact same, except it's slippery. What have you guys learned?
Condoms fit everything. Almost everything.
Oh, how to put on a condom.
Yeah.
Put on a condom, that's important. But yeah, so, you know, somebody who is making up excuses not to use protection is definitely someone that you want to be kind of wary of because, you know, it's easy to do. It's not that hard, you know.
That it can be used for more than, like, just a condom.
And it can be used for more than just vaginal intercourse. Yeah. Would you guys say that from what we gathered from our list, do you guys think that you've ever been in a friendship or a relationship that you thought was unhealthy, now looking back on it? Yes. Yeah. And I have, definitely, for sure. And so what I want you guys to do, kind of like homework, is, you know, when you go home tonight and when you, as you're hanging out with your friends over the summer and stuff, you know, just like reflect on it and think, you know, is what this person is doing, is it beneficial for me? Is it beneficial for them? Are we having a healthy exchange of friendship here? And if we're not, what can we do about it? What can we do to fix it? Or what can we do to kind of like move on, you know? So definitely being, you know, remember to be aware of this stuff. And since we were talking about sex, you know, sex is it could be great if it's done safely and consensually and well, or it could be really awful, like we talked about. Whether you're planning on having sex in the near future or in the future at all, whether you're not planning on having sex, it's always important to know how to be safe, both physically, how to be safe with contraceptives, and also how to be safe emotionally and how to deal with that change of having sex, whether it's for the first time or with a new person or, you know, all that. And, you know, on that note, safe sex is good sex. So you guys can, I have a bunch of condoms that I want you guys to take. So in the future, we can all be prepared together. Since we're talking about safe sex, I think it's important that everybody knows how to get and how to use contraceptives. There are a lot of different contraceptives out there, not just condoms, but condoms are one of the most reliable forms if used properly. Alright guys, this is how to put a condom on a penis. So this little banana is going to be our penis. We got our condom right here. First of all, obviously you want to open up your condom. Be careful. A lot of people think, oh, it'll be sexy, I'll open it with my teeth. It's actually not the best idea because you can tear the condom on accident by doing that. So first just feel around, make sure that there's no holes. Check the expiration date. This one expires in 21, so we are good to go. If it's expired, do not use it. It'll probably break, and that's how bad things happen. So you take it out. Like I said before, we checked that there weren't any holes in it. So as you can see, there's this side and there's this side. And it does matter which way you unroll it. You want to unroll it so it's like this, so the little top is sticking up, and it kind of folds in right here. So you're going to hold the top. It's really important that you pinch the top and you don't pull the condom all the way down the penis, because then when ejaculating, it's not going to have anywhere to go. So you pinch this, hold it over the tip of the penis, and you're going to use your other hand to roll it down as far as it'll go. It's a long condom. And then you can let go. Voila, you're ready to go. Condoms can also be used as dental dams. Dental dams are just a piece of latex that you stretch over the vulva and use to navigate with oral sex. And because a lot of people don't really realize or don't think about, oh, condoms aren't only just to prevent pregnancy, but also to prevent STDs and STIs. And that's where, you know, you should be wearing a condom when you having oral sex, especially if it's somebody that you aren't familiar with or you're not familiar with their sexual history. So here is how to make a dental dam. Condoms are the only contraceptive that also prevent STDs and STIs. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a dental dam out of a condom. It's pretty easy. It's kind of self-explanatory. All you got to do is just cut off the closed tip. And then you're going to try to open it a little bit, and you're just going to make a cut down the long side. And sometimes you can just, once you make the cut, you can kind of just tear it down the middle, follow that. Yeah, there we go. And then you will have to cut at the end because the rolled part is too thick to just rip like that, which is good. You wouldn't want that to rip when you're using it on a penis. So it got a little bit messed up right there, as you can see, but now it's basically just a rectangle of latex, and that's all a dental dam is. And this is so your tongue and the vulva don't make actual physical contact, so that if somebody does have an STD that they don't know about, or maybe they do know about and they're not telling you, it won't spread. It's basically the exact same thing as a condom. It's just around your tongue, not your penis. Of course, the person receiving will still be able to feel it. Alright, that's it for this week, so thank you for chiming in once again, and hopefully everybody is being safe and happy in your relationships and your friendships. I'll be including some links to some different resources down in the description, resources about having safe sex and signs of an abusive relationship, as well as the hotlines for domestic abuse and sexual assault. Okay, stay safe, have an awesome week. We love you from the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Why is it called a blowjob? It should be called a lick job.
That feels like.
Yeah. Oh wait, look, if you push it, the air comes out the back.
Oh, it's so
Oh, give me a high five.
Oh,
you're getting broken though. Wait. Oh, Sparky. Sparky, lick it.
Sparky's not a fan of protected sex. Ew. He's like, no.
Okay, you can start recording now. It smells exactly like a banana. Like, smell it. It smells like Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Laffy Taffy banana.
I love Laffy Taffy.
Oh my god, wait, it really does. Yeah. Feel free to grab some condoms, guys.
I've never seen girls so excited about condoms.
Look at it, we're gonna fool him. Okay. Don't be silly, protect your will. So, first I got them. I look cute. Sorry. Okay, and like, oh fuck, this is very loose. Oh my god, I can smell it from here. So you know you can either hold it across the pelvis and move your mouth around, or you can just kind of like. Either way, it's kind of.
Waiting to recover is a waste of time. Conquering the pain is a state of mind.